the best place to find gold is on land that's been locked up. And that land is usually on private property. Gadsy and I were lucky enough to be given access to such a piece of land. And what we would find there was truly stunning.
As I hope you'll be able to see, it's completely covered in black sand.
The amount of gold in this creek is ridiculous.
Bonanza City. This is why we look for private property access. After many years, Sir Sweatpants, guess what? Sweatpants!
Oh, you are sweatpants too!
Oh, I can't wait to cut down to the lower weight class in these. So the note to myself is to take everything out of my pockets that can potentially be utterly destroyed by my own ball sweat. The monumental effort I had to go to get these waders on cannot be overstated in the slightest. I put them on backwards and then I used my belt as a shoulder strap. Gadsy's been making fun of me. There's another thing, and that is that it is overcast but extremely glary, and I don't understand how clouds can produce so much glare. This is a private permission, which means that no one else can access it.
You ain't coming on this place.
Get off my property.
No, sirree.
But I shall need a blue circle. I'll wash myself with iron on a stick. The thing that I'm used to with gold prospecting is that all these gold prospectors come along and they're like, I've got a really good spot. I'm going to take you to the best spot ever. The gold was this big. And then you get there and you pull out 3 nanodots. We shall see. I feel the clay layer, he says. Is that a good one? He's telling me. That's my meal ticket. Granite-based creeks always have this really interesting clay where the bedrock is decaying and it looks like this. So that is a great start. Ooh, that looks terrible, Gadsy. Terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah,
Why?
terrible.
Terrible. Oh, yes, horrible.
Yeah. The life and times of a YouTube gold prospector. Will there be any dirt in this gold? Or will he be forced to go back to his family and become a stockbroker? Whoa, the black sand! I'm really glad I spent so much time prospecting on Reedy Creek because it's going to prepare me well for dealing with that. Damn! So this is the part of the story where either Gadsy's told me a big fish tail and we're just here to mine black sand, or there's more than 2 flakes in this pan. Oh, now I see what you're saying. Wow! No wonder you got 3/4 of a gram just doing casual panning.
Yeah, I told you, man.
Bro, these are good! That size gold is fantastic. Those are good particle sizes. That doesn't take long for gold like that to add up.
Old past Chris, you have no idea what you're in store for because over the next 3 sessions, it got
Private
real.
permissions are always something we look for. They're hard to get because land management and water management and cattle and all of that sort of jazz. If you get them, it's always good gold. Always. This is going to be a good day. Oh, gobble guts, you are not going to be starving.
Where the fuck?
This is how a professional puts on his sweatpants. Are you ready? And that, my dear dude and dudettes, is how you put on sweatpants. I could only hope to obtain such levels of professionalism. Gadsy told me there was good gold here, but he said he also hasn't tested the rest of this section of stream, so I best do my due diligence and actually see if there's gold along the rest of it and not just like mooch off his good nature. I mean, if there's no gold here, I'll mooch. Boy, that's a nice looking rock. It's nowhere near the same amount of black sand as the last pan. Sometimes it's easier doing this than it is to use the riffles, so something to bear in mind if you have an XB pan and you get down to the last bit of concentrates. We got black sand. We do have fine gold. Oh, woo! Not as good, but it's still there. Those pieces were just sitting on scoured clean bedrock. Where I got the clay before was decaying bedrock. It traps gold better. So the trick is definitely going to be finding that decayed bedrock and clay. Do I want to have a look? What?
At this stage, Gadsy and I didn't know it, but this was the creek having some foreplay with us, because later that day, we were going to find something we had never seen before. So much more gold.
I tried several places along there with sporadic results. This is sort of the average, not quite as good as what Gadsy's getting in his pans down there, so I'm going to have to keep looking. But in my second pan, this popped out. Le Dip. That is a beautiful crystal if I have ever seen one. Woohoo! No! Whoa!
Jeez.
How good's the wind?
Oh, it's so great.
Oh, I love it. It's like warm.
Oh, yeah.
It's not glary at all.
No.
It's a little bit breezy today, and I'd be lying if I said my nipples weren't extraordinarily hard right now. Gadsy and I have been just test panning, and I brought up a cross cut of the bedrock. Right in this section of creek here, you can see it narrows, so everything has to pass through it. And it scoured the bedrock clean. What's sitting on top is decaying bedrock, a thin layer of clay, and then it goes back to solid bedrock underneath the broken fractured stuff. My first shovel is in the pan, and my second shovel's still sitting up there. I have never seen this before. So this down here is the decaying bedrock. Underneath it, it gets more solid. This lump of dirt here is how the creek bottom was sitting when I brought it up in the shovel. Look at how much black sand is sitting on top of that surface right now. This gives you a real life visual representation of what's happening on the bottom of the creek. Look at the black sand. It is all through this. It's extraordinarily small, but there is also a piece of gold sitting in that black sand. And it's the same thing on this shovel. I took this from exactly the same spot, and look at the ribbon of black sand that's coming down the back of it. That is mental. That rock. So clearly that rock was just sitting on the creek bottom like this, and all the black sand is slowly but surely piled up on top of it. I have never seen a cross cut of a section of river like this before. That is mental. The amount of tin sitting on the bottom of that section is insane. There should be gold there, by all accounts. If there's not gold there, I'll be very surprised. But there is only ever one way to find out, and that is to wash it. I am going to have to be... Oh my God! There's gold there! Gatsy! All I did was put this in the water, and I was going to go break up the clay. I picked this up, and there's gold just sitting amongst the black sand that is pouring off it. Look at the size of that flake. Look at that! It's sitting in the black sand.
Oh my God.
It just poured off it when I put it in the water. Get in the pan. Normally gold sits like on top of and just in the first centimetre or so of the soil or any clay. I'm just going to have to make sure I thoroughly break all of this up. This might take me a while.
This would just be the start of mega gold deposits. The black sand was so thick, most pans took me 20 minutes to complete.
It depends on how much gold comes out of this pan, because if there's a lot of gold in this pan, I don't mind breaking up clay. It's just that you don't see this all that often. Look at how coarse that tin is! And there is gold. There is gold right next to, like, center of screen right now next to that white rock. There is a piece of gold sitting out. That's not right, Gadsy! Nah, it's all still there. Touch some serious wood, and this will be the greatest pan that I've ever done.
These pans are so complicated, I had to break them down into sections, separating the clay and rock.
Okay, if it's balls of clay like this, I'm just going to put them on the shovel and do them separately.
From the silt, dirt and loose gravels that were willing to fall off of that clay. Clay is an incredibly difficult thing to break up on the creek, so I saved most of it and took it home to process properly.
I've got gold at the back of the pan already. Oh my word. That looks like I have done a high banker clean out. The amount of tin in there is ridiculous. Look at that. Oh yeah, there's some gold in it. There's some gold in it. Oh. I don't know. I legitimately don't know if I'm going to be able to reveal this properly. This is going to take me some time, so I'm just going to shake it back. We'll see if there's gold.
I can see gold.
I can see gold in it. There's definitely gold. Oh, that is a great pan. I was going to say good, but that's not even 2 full shovels because the rest of it's over there.
Oh, really? Oh, geez.
Gadsy's telling me that further downstream, every pan was like this. What a property. I got to go back here and get Mr. Gobble-Guts. Ooh. This may take me a couple of goes. This might take me a couple of goes. That is glorious. This is my second pass at trying to get the gold out, and I've got just as much gold from revealing it again as I did the first time. All right, we haven't finished those 2 shovels just yet. We've got to do these.
The gold in my area is primarily considered to be flour gold. These are very small pieces, and usually they don't have enough weight to sink into or through the clay, and therefore they sit on top. It's always worth checking, but in most areas with flour gold, you don't have to do this step.
The gold and the black sand was all sitting in the yellow clay, so that's what I've concentrated on breaking up. The grey stuff is the bedrock itself. It's unlikely there's going to be as much gold in that. So I'm fairly confident we're going to recover most of the gold out of those 2 clay balls. Let's find out.
You know how you said about the tin?
Yeah. Oh, look at how chunky that is. Oh! I declare this one of the greatest days of prospecting ever. Yeah. Alright, we're down to the skinny end of the clay. Let's see. I don't think there's going to be terribly much gold in the clay, but there'll be a little bit. This is exactly why I tell people that working the clay, breaking down clay, is usually a waste of time. You saw how much gold I got out of the soil sitting on top of it that was very easy to access. And that is all I got from breaking down the clay, and it took me the same amount of time to do a smaller amount. Unless you're in a chunky nugget area, clay usually isn't worth it. The gold's sitting on top, not in it. All right. So this is where I took my shovel from last time. I'm going to go off to one edge and I'm going to dig down on the edge of it, because usually the edge has more friction. We like friction. It's like one of the only places we really enjoy friction, because it means the gold drops out. Let's see if we can replicate that result. Ooh, it looks good. Black sand. Oh, it's the same. We've got exactly the same result. Look at all the black sand. This will be another really good pan.
These pans were tedious, taking somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes each to complete, but you were getting more than 15 or 20 minutes worth of gold out of every single one of them.
I've just started stacking up all the clay instead of wasting my time breaking it down. I'm just going to take it home and do it later. Instead, concentrate on revealing the ridiculous amount of tin and gold sitting on top of it. All right, gold gods. Well, let's see what you got for me, pan 2. Oh, that is littered. These pans are magic. We don't get pans like this in the northeast that often because every area is smashed. So private permissions like this mean everything to us. It's really, really important that you look after the landholders when you get places like this. You know, backfill your holes, make sure you're not digging holes in inappropriate areas, respect their rules. And the same goes for if you see someone else on a private permission, not to shovel dog them, because at the end of the day, you could go up and ask that landholder and he may say yes to you. If you jump the fence and cause all kinds of problems for him, he's never going to say yes to you, and you're probably going to cost someone else their permission. This is my 4th pan from this spot. They're all been magic. And I'm almost down to the pointy end of this pan. Not only is there some beautiful pieces of gold starting to come out of the back, I just spotted this. And this, it is. That is another one of those crystals. This spot has everything going for it. Gemstones, crystals, mad gold, beautiful scenery. Waders, they've got pockets. Slightly better than gumboots, eh? Crystals are cool and all, but let's see how much gold we got. The black sand has just remained super consistent. Yeah, I can already see some really nice flakes coming out. Look at this. The only way I can accurately describe getting pans like this, it's like bending over and picking up a $2 coin. And sometimes you get a pan where it's like picking up a $5 or $10 note. And I've been stacking up all the clay over here. I'm going to take this home. I'm going to crush some of it myself. And the rest of it I'm going to give away over on my Patreon account and probably do a giveaway or maybe a sale over on my regular account for everyone else. Patreon costs just $2 a month to sign up to. No long-term commitments. We give away stuff like this, pan kits, loose boxes, and all sorts of stuff every single month. Gadsy seems pretty excited about that. And the free, cheap, and easiest way you can support any creator out there is to leave a like and a comment. That helps distribute the videos to more people so more people see it. Good sir.
Good sir.
Oh my god!
6 pans.
6 pans? Look at that bit. Oh my god. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna live with that. I might die with it too.
From my cold dead hands.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the latest prospecting news from this creek, I have just pulled up the most amazing shovel of my entire prospecting career. And that is saying something because I have had some spectacular finds in the past. Are you ready? As I hope you'll be able to see, it's completely covered in black sand. And I mean completely. There is not a surface on this shovel that is not absolutely chock full of black sand. And if you're wondering if there was gold, the answer is yes. I have a piece of gold just here. I have a very large flake of gold just here. There is yet another piece of gold just there. Let us wash. Yep. I'm going to put that piece of clay in the giveaway pile. Oh, what the frick? I haven't even started panning that off. There's gold all over the back. At this point, I don't know if I'm ever going to be on a better creek. Gadsy has got like a once in a lifetime private property permission here. This is not common. This is exactly like I cleaned out a sluice box, like a high banker sluice box after a full day's run. The amount of black sand in this pan right now is nothing short of miraculous. And bear in mind, this is one shovel. This isn't even full pan, it's one shovel. You want to see one shovel, Gadsy?
One shovel.
That's one shovel. Okay, the tapping is doing nothing to assist me. So we shall just struggle onwards.
Ooh.
I mean, we know that there's going to be a lot more than that in that black sand too. That is probably one of the best pans I've ever had out panning. I have now gone through and panned down that black sand 3 times and I got just as much gold every time out of that one shovel. I probably collected 300 flakes in that one shovel and it's still coming out. I still have gold. I still have gold coming out like this and it's all through the black sand. I just can't get through it. That's one shovel. I'm gonna try to remember where I took that pan from. Back there somewhere. That's that looks. Oh, how the friggity heck is that even possible? That is just not. That is not okay. Piece of jasper. Well, that's another half an hour of my life right there. I need you to come here. Every pan I've done from this spot today looks just like this. That is one shovel of dirt. One shovel. And there's more gold in this. You just got to go through it again and again. This is what I managed to get for about 4 hours of panning. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is one of the richest spots I have ever worked for alluvial gold. I have done sessions where I pulled out more gold, certainly, with high bankers and in creeks far, far away and places far, far away, but just using a pan, just very casually panning. I've probably only done 15 pans today. Bonanza City. This is why we look for private property access. Private permissions are amongst one of the most difficult things to obtain as prospectors. Mining has an unfortunate history of doing massive damage to the natural environment. And so landholders are perhaps reasonably so apprehensive about letting prospectors onto their properties. I'm hoping that both Gadsy and I can do some careful and responsible prospecting on this land so that the landowner allows us back for multiple sessions. And I know you want to see the gold, but first, gold isn't the only thing we've been finding on that creek. This is a piece of jasper, a piece of special banded jasper that I managed to recover on the same session. Look at how stunning this rock is. Jasper is amongst my favorite types of gemstone and I cannot wait to polish this. And even though this crystal has obviously been well water worn and seen its time in the creek, I still think it's stunning. Both Gadsy and I have been finding dozens of these terminating points all through our pans. And whilst we've both been lucky enough to find pieces of tourmaline before, it's rare that we find pieces this big and this iridescent. This is most of the gold that I managed to recover on the first session out of just 15 pans. I spent most of my day exploring the creek and just doing test pans, so this result is nothing compared to what we got in later sessions, but nonetheless an amazing take. We're clearly not the first people on the creek because we have a lot of amalgamated gold. Those silver pieces are mercury coated flakes. But because the property's been locked up for so long, there's such an accumulation of gold there, it doesn't really matter that it was mined back in the 1800s. And in a couple of videos time, you're going to see me collect this much gold in just a few pans. So if there was ever a time for you to hit the subscribe button, turn on all notifications and drop me a comment, now is it. But for now, I really want to know how much gold I've managed to collect because I've been waiting all week to do this. I'm hoping it's well north of a gram. I'm going to guess 1.2. Let's find out. Oh my god, 1.9. Look, yeah, there's a little bit of black sand in that, but I promise you most of it's gold. 1.9 grams on my first day. Bro, I haven't even done the cleanups from the good days we've had there. All I can say is, Gadsy, thank you for taking me there, and to the landholder who allowed us on, thank you so much for the opportunity to experience this.